Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by the one, the only Jonathan Fjeld from the Racing Experts. This is not the preview show. That will come tomorrow. But today, NASCAR made a big announcement. They are taking it to the streets. So I think that's a song by the Doobie Brothers. No, literally, NASCAR is going street course racing for the first time in its history as part of its 75th season. Hard to believe this will be NASCAR's 75th season. Maybe we'll get the 75 greatest drivers like they did when they had the 50th. I don't know, but
likely.
This is a big breaking news, massive announcement. I know you kind of touched on this, but we're going to intermediate, short tracks, dirt courses, road courses,
We're racing in a football stadium.
Racing in football stadiums, and now we're racing on a street course in the city of Chicago.
How exciting. Thinking about NASCAR wanting to open itself up more to more markets, as we've talked about before, NASCAR has said, we want to be in as many places as possible and be in big places too. And this is a big step because now, as I was looking at it, NASCAR has a race in 11 of the top 25 US markets. And I think something like 5 or half of the top 12 markets they have a race in, because you have LA, you have Chicago, Dallas, San Francisco, Atlanta, and Phoenix, where there's all races there. So it's wonderful to see for NASCAR. And also too, I think it's very exciting to see something new for the sport. I can't believe we've in a sport, in a league that was founded on moonshiners running from the law on the streets, the back roads. I'm amazed we've never had a street course race in all these years. So this is also kind of harkening back to the roots a little bit too.
I think people can't believe, this sport was founded on this. So funny enough, sport has changed so much in its history. But I know there's been a lot, as most people are, and they're a little bit torn about this. I know people are excited about this. I know, but it also comes at a cost as well. NASCAR did announce, and NASCAR did confirm today that Road America will not be on the Cup schedule next year. I know a lot of people are not happy about that, but I know there could be some other series that could possibly be going there. Here's the thing about Road America. Road America did not need NASCAR to survive. I know they have a lot of other track. I know IndyCar and IMSA. I know they have a lot of stuff going on there. I know they got some. The USF Juniors will be going there just in a few weeks. So they got a lot of series to race on. There could possibly still see some things down the road. And NASCAR said this. We may not be going to Road America next year, but it doesn't mean we're not ever coming back there. So there is a possibility down the road that Road America still could be on the schedule.
Yeah, for sure. But I think just looking at this moment, whenever you hear Bob Pockrass even come out and say, man, this is kind of disappointing, it's kind of disappointing, because we've seen some great races at Road America. And we've seen some great attendance. I was there in 2021, and just being there, kind of that first burst of the post-pandemic era and 4th of July, and everybody excited to be there and feel like you're at more of a campground than a racetrack. It's kind of like you went to a campground and a race broke out of some sort. It was a great atmosphere, a lot of fun. It's unfortunate that they couldn't make it at Road America's Mike Kircher. I want to read his quote. "We delivered the Road America experience for 2 years and have nothing to be ashamed about or anything. It's out of our control. It was an honor to have it for 2 years, and we'd love for it to come back." That sounds very encouraging, because I know you and I both were kind of wondering, is this going to burn a bridge? Is this going to be, animosity going down the road? But to hear that, that's encouraging, and it could bode well for the future.
And NASCAR still could go there. I mean, the Xfinity Series, they've been there since 2010. Who knows? The Truck Series could possibly go there. But it obviously time will tell, and obviously that's just thoughts coming out of my head. I don't have any leads. Well,
can't forget your favorite series, Arkham Menard series as well.
Well, they wouldn't go alone. They would have to have
Of
another
course.
sports series with them.
Of
Would
course.
probably likely be the truck series, but
Hmm.
I don't know anything. I do, but
Hmm.
that's not been talked about from my knowledge. So I
Hmm.
just want to make that clear a little bit.
Hmm.
So this is the seven. I know they're going to the Chicago street course and all that stuff. And I know I wanted to, we were talking about this and watching actually some of the how the local news stations in Chicago were covering this. And
Hmm.
obviously they would know the ins and outs of Chicago better than us. But apparently there's also been some, the mayor was down there with Lori Lightfoot, a lot of the aldermans, which is basically the term for the Chicago City Council. So there's 50 aldermans. So basically, each of them represent a sector of the city, and the Chicago's a massive city. Apparently, they claim that they didn't know anything about this. They said they did. I don't know. It's just politics, and I know it's also an election year as well
Hmm.
coming up, and I know the mayor's got some pretty big challenges coming up there, including a lot of big names in Chicago trying to be the next mayor of that of the city. So there, and then there's also the other issue, and I think that you and I kind of talked about this as well.
Hmm.
I know that there's a lot of everyone gives Chicago a bad rap about a lot of the crime that happens there.
Hmm.
But it's interesting to know that they're welcoming NASCAR, and they should welcome NASCAR with open arms and say that we want to come here and race in the city. But there's also I know that Chicago has also had a lot of with illegal street racing, amateur street racing, a lot of crime that happens there, and trying to get that stuff under control. What, do you think maybe NASCAR being there kind of helps that and say, hey, we're the professionals around here, so don't do
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, and as we were talking about too, NASCAR has been involved in several campaigns, to discourage, illegal racing, to discourage speeding, different things like that. Not even just NASCAR, but NASCAR drivers and drivers in other motorsports have appeared in different PSAs and things. And I think this is a good opportunity to, maybe start something bigger. Maybe start a bigger campaign and partner with these different partners, because we've seen it too here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where street racing's been a big problem, and we've seen it in another market too where it's been a big problem. Obviously, it's not a short street course, but Portland, it's been an issue. So it's an issue nationwide, and to launch it, I really see a potential where you go to one of the biggest markets and one of the biggest cities in the country, and you could launch a big campaign like that. So I think it could be something for NASCAR to really take hold of. You're in the biggest market. Why not make a message, say something? NASCAR's been a lot about that in recent years. We've seen it with the way they responded to the Black Lives Matter protests, after, Atlanta in 2020. We've
Yep.
seen it with, some of the things they've done for Pride Month and the Trevor Project, different things like that. So it's another thing that NASCAR could do to really say, hey, we are aware of where we are and our place in society. Here's how we're going to do something about it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So this races will be on transitioning back to the race. It'll be on Big NBC the week before 4th of July. So an IMSA series that was not mentioned. What specific series would be down there? Um, Going by with what series do race there. I don't think it, and this is just pure speculation again. I don't think it would be the Michelin Pilot Challenge. Um, but my two guesses are either, I would think maybe the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. I know that's also IMSA's kind of going through a little bit of a renaissance as well.
Mhm.
Shiny new cars, new class. The MDH class is coming in. The GTP class kind of will be, replacing what is known as the DPI. So it's not sure what's also maybe the MX5 Cup would be down there. That would be very interesting. But what's it like to see IMSA down there as well? Because I know that everyone asks, well, where's the Xfinity series? Where's the Truck series? Or where's the ARCA series?
Mhm.
There's not a lot of space in that garage. I've been to a street course. Obviously being on Belle Isle for so many years. There's not a lot of space on that on the island for, or on this case in, in city streets for all these different types of cars.
Mm-hmm. This is a cool opportunity, I think, too, for IMSA to really build them, build. I don't want to say build themselves up, because IMSA has a very healthy following the way it is, but there's going to be a lot of mainstream and widespread attention on IMSA that the series usually doesn't get, especially, being paired with NASCAR. So this is going to be a good opportunity for them to really harness that. And I mean, you got to think of it from a casual fan's perspective too, of seeing, all these different cool sports cars and whatnot. That's a big draw as well. In addition to the NASCAR Cup Series, where you get the big stars and all the people coming in and the cool cars too. So it's great to see IMSA be on that stage. It kind of reminds me too of when they were looking to expand Indianapolis Motor Speedway's festivities back in 2012. And they added IMSA, and they added what was then called the Nationwide Series. So it's great to see IMSA be used in this way. Also, another thing too I want to talk about, you mentioned 4th of July weekend. For as much as this race weekend stayed the same for 60 years, from 59 to 2019, this is the third time. Yeah, Daytona. This is the third time we've seen this race move, because in 20 it moved to Indy. 21, 22 moved to Road America, and now it's moving to the Chicago Street Course. So you got to wonder if this is going to be the new tradition going forward, or, could something change in the future? Obviously, we have a 3-year deal on the book now, but it's just kind of interesting to see how something so constant has been changing so much over the years.
Yeah, I think it's also kind of good to see. I mean, it seems like, people want change, but when the change happens, people get all angry. And it's like, this isn't the change we wanted. So we'll just have to say, it seems like every big event, I mean, you look at the Roval, or you look at Bristol Dirt, you look at COTA, or you look at the LA Coliseum. Obviously, all those ideas had, had their issues and controversy. And, some of them people still don't like to this day. But if you ask some people, most of them have turned into a big success.
Yeah.
We'll see how
even Daytona, I don't want to tangent off too much, but Daytona, where it's a good regular season closer. And also too, the town of Daytona has 2 big weekends now, 4th of July and the regular season finale. So it's worked out pretty well. Yeah. This will work out well too.
Yeah. I know also, NASCAR's talked about, getting into more markets as the sport approach. This will be next year. Will be the 75th anniversary of NASCAR. So, they want to go to more markets. I know they want to maybe go up to Northeast and see what's out there. The area that everyone's been clamoring for. I know you're the big proponent of one. Kind of got one this year, but I know the Pacific Northwest has been kind of clamoring for a race. And actually, a while ago, I thought they were actually going to build a track out there. I know that area has been wanting a race. I know that area has actually kind of grown in, obviously with the Seattle Kraken now coming there with the newest NHL franchise, being out there. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what and plus if they take it international with Mexico, or they could go to Mexico City, they could go back up to Canada. I know there's been talk that the Truck Series could possibly go back there. So where do you see NASCAR going next as they trying to break into new markets?
It's funny because right before we went on, I wrote down a few tracks that I could see as possibilities. And the one that jumps straight to mind that we used to go to and was very, very popular back in the day, Montreal, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. I think that would be a great track for NASCAR. If they're wanting to target Canada and they're wanting to target the Northeast, that'd be a great track. Because, when I was looking at it, honestly, before I took my job, I was looking at Burlington, Vermont, and actually Burlington, Vermont is not that far from Montreal. So a lot of people go up there. So that's a great draw for the Northeast, for Montreal to possibly have a race. We also have Canadian Tire Motorsports Park that's close, near Toronto and whatnot. So yeah, and I also think Portland is also a good track as well in the Pacific Northwest. There's also Mexico City. Excuse me there. I'm getting kind of hoarse.
Yeah.
Mexico City as well. It's a big city. Mexico City is one of the biggest cities in North America. So that's another market for NASCAR to target as well. Whatnot. So
yeah, it's just going to have to be, process with that. I know that Canada's, I know that the vaccine issue has been something that Canada has kind of been dealing with a lot of teams. Of course, for example, if you look at what the Royals, what they had to go through in trying to get all the process in there. I know that, who knows what COVID's going to look like as other teams get in there, but I know that's been a concern as well with, with getting into Canada as, I know a lot of people aren't that, but we'll just have to cross that bridge when we get there. So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for this Chicago news video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for the preview show.